Hi guys, it's Miriam with Practical Astrology for You, the channel that helps you work on your interpretation skills in astrology. Right, so it looks like it's time to catch up on a lot of things. A lot of things have happened recently, a lot of events that are really interesting to look at from an astrological viewpoint. So today it's time to have a look at Will Smith. So of course the story went around the world when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock on stage at the Oscars ceremony the end of March, and I've put up the chart of Will Smith. The inner wheel and the outer wheel are the transits for the 27th of March, where the ceremony took place. And I think it's really quite striking what this reveals in terms of a much deeper background, what is going on for him, and also in terms of the repercussions, the consequences this incident has on his whole career, actually. So apparently his birth time is not 100% certain, but if we look at what is happening now transit wise, it seems like it's pretty close to accurate. So first of all, I would like to point out Uranus. So if this birth time is near correct and he's got Gemini rising, then his midheaven is in Aquarius, 14 degrees, and Uranus is hitting his midheaven, in a square. And it's a ruler of his midheaven. So Uranus, always the dreaded wrecking ball, especially in a square, can really, cause some severe turmoil, change, sudden incidents, upset, that sort of thing. And that's exactly what happened. And it was, it seemed like such a, unexpected thing to happen. We also see that transiting Saturn is currently in his 10th house of career, of life goals, and of public image and reputation. And Mars also at 16 degrees, roughly 16 degrees of Aquarius, has just crossed his midheaven and entered this sector as well. So Mars is obviously a symbol for aggression, for rash actions, and there's also a square going on with Uranus, although it's already past the exact point. It's still just about 3 or 4 degrees, so I would say it's still, the energy is still there around his midheaven. So it really looks like something, especially with Saturn also in the 10th house. And Saturn always indicates long-term developments. We know that he has had much success as well, because he got a lot of recognition for his performance in King Richard and all that. So this is pretty much also an aspect, this transit shows also his career success is happening at the moment, and him being recognized as someone very just very good at his profession, very dedicated, and like an award is always this type of recognition of accomplishments. That's what Saturn is all about in the 10th house. It wants to ask us, like, what have you accomplished at this point, or what are you still aiming to accomplish, what still needs to be achieved. So that's one aspect. But on the other hand, there's also a couple of difficult sides to Saturn in the 10th house. You know, maybe you will have to really work very, very hard in order to prove your worth, or to prove that you are that it's what you're doing and what you're putting out there. If we see this as the career house, like the classic career house, where everything is like on display and people judge you, you know. So this judgmental side to Saturn, where people really look at you very closely and they see every single detail that may not be perfected yet, and you feel under, like, you know, such scrutiny. We can also see that transiting Saturn, that's actually a really, really harsh transit, and it was near exact around that day. So Saturn is squaring the moon here in Scorpio of Will Smith, in the house of, well, in the house of work, daily routines, everyday lives. And this is obviously an aspect where you can, especially with the moon in Scorpio, where you can feel offended quite easily, you know, by someone's judgment. I mean, this was obviously Chris Rock as a comedian, you know. It was meant in a humorous way. He did not mean to, you know, have a dig at someone. And I personally think it was really not worth you know, the big, just making such a big deal and such a big drama out of it. But it looks like there's something really profound. The impact that this whole story is now having on his life is quite profound. So if we combine Saturn and the moon, if we just find some, like, a very simple way of translating this, like hard feelings, you know, or just feeling put down. Also, obviously, the moon is a symbol of in a man's chart, a symbol of the woman, the partner, the wife as well. So there is a connection there, because this joke was obviously directed at his wife, Jada Pinkett, and also transiting Jupiter was in near exact opposition to his natal Jupiter, and that's the ruler of his house of relationships. So it looks like there is some indicators that there was like a reaction there, a very uncontrolled reaction with Mars Uranus, and that had quite a lot to do with his partner being under some sort of assault here, but just to put it very mildly. It's just the way that he felt about it. And I personally think, I have not seen, I have to say, I have not seen lots of articles, lots of videos, but what I have seen, the footage that I have seen, it was almost what he said afterwards when he was sat in his chair. That was much more severe. The words that he used when he was swearing, than this little slap there on stage, because that came out like really uncontrolled, really angry. He was really lashing out. He was really shouting and threatening him, you know, just don't you dare, you know, using my wife's name, or blah blah blah, whatever he said. I don't know what the exact words were, but this is a time where I think a couple of his planets are in quite a like sensitive position. So there's the Jupiter thing, there is Saturn squaring the moon, there's also Pluto in an exact square to Mercury and Venus. And if we go with Mercury as his chart ruler and Venus as the ruler of his sun, there is an indicator here of something really transforming for him, something in his perception, in his attitude, his way of thinking, approaching, reacting. Also very much about reacting with the Gemini, the rising, Mercury as the ruler of the rising sign. And there are some long-term consequences. Obviously now it came out that he is to be banned from attending an Oscar ceremony for 10 years. For the next 10 years, he is not allowed to attend, and I think he also left the Academy Association. He just decided that before they could even put a ban on him or chuck him out or whatever. So this sort of being kind of disjected. There's also this something Uranus likes to, disjoin, likes to disrupt and just pull apart. And there's really something about his career and his public image and reputation, and it shows like a profound change here. So that incident obviously will have a big impact on whatever his future path. And I think you can clearly see also the negative sides to Saturn there. Saturn in the 10th house is often called seen as a good position for career, because Saturn is at home in the 10th house. That is the house that Saturn rules. So it seems like a good placement there. Like even in transit, okay, that is like achievement, that is recognition, but it can also speak of hard times and tough times. And we can see that the Moon and Saturn, they rule, in combination, they rule 4 houses in his chart. They rule the 2nd, 3rd, and then on the other side here, the 8th and the 9th. So quite important planets. And if they are in a challenging aspect, obviously, then yeah, there is something needs to be sorted out. So there's something needs to shift there about his attitude. So now he's kind of, maybe it's I don't think he feels like the victim. He's pretty aware of what he did, and I think he's also accepted whatever form of punishment. Isn't that also so Saturn? The punishment. So there's like this public, he's like someone falling from grace, and also really jeopardizing his image. And that's a classic for Uranus, risking something and just basically almost pushing the eject button yourself, and then bing, you're just out. And Saturn is like also like a symbol, is both the success that he currently has with his movies and his performances, and he shows that side of him. But there's a lot of attention was drawn towards this incident with Venus there, Saturn there, Mars there, all here in the 10th house. But Saturn also is apparently representative of some judgment, public judgment, and punishment. So yeah, but it also seems like this was somehow, many said this was just staged or planned or something, but it seems like this really there was some sort of pain or hurt, an offense. There was an offense. Moon Saturn, especially with the moon in Scorpio, is very much seeing something as an offense, a personal offense. And apparently he was not able to suppress it because the Mars Uranus was just too strong, and it just came out in that moment. The good news is Saturn is also now in sextile to his natal Saturn, so hopefully he will learn from this, and maybe there will also be some sort of forgiveness, or at least maybe some sort of milder punishment, or at least more balance, like some sort of recognition at the same time, where people say, okay, he sees his mistake, or he knows that he shouldn't have done this, and but at the same time some sort of putting it into perspective, and not making such a big just things to calm down, like an indicator things may hopefully are about to calm down for him, and for, you know, the situation to balance out a little bit. Also, Jupiter is moving out of the opposition to his natal Jupiter, but still opposing. Pluto is going to oppose Pluto, Uranus, and his Sun in the next couple weeks. And then the Sun in a month, obviously, over the summer, Jupiter will be in opposition. So I think there is also some profound, like, growth happening and learning happening. Maybe also some intense growth in his relationship as well. I mean, Jada, she was sitting next to him, and she didn't say anything, but she did look like, obviously, yeah, not happy, or rather embarrassed. But the whole situation was just really odd, was just really strange, wasn't it? It was really very Hollywood somehow, and I think the whole ceremony, from what I've read, was a really odd procedure in itself. But I don't want to go into depth, because you may have very different opinion about this. I just really want to stick to what you can actually see in the constellations. And what they show is that there is, this is having a big impact on his future career path. Saturn, Uranus, like the classics for, you know, being banned, being an outcast. You know, he's outcasted himself. But it looks like this happened on the basis of really something very sensitive inside him being touched, being like, I'm not going to say assaulted, but just like there was a confrontation with something he was not, he did feel very strongly about, and he could not see the humorous side of it, at least not in this moment. And this was a really, his reaction was very Mars in Aquarius squaring Uranus. I think that's what it looks like at the moment, right? Yeah, so as always, let me know in the comments, please, what you think about the whole Will Smith story and drama. Please like, share, and subscribe also if you haven't already. I'd be very happy to see you supporting me, and I'll see you very soon on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.